Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Pre-Market News and Views by In the Money Stocks. Today is Tuesday, May 29, 2012. There's a lot to cover, so let's get right into the charts here. I'm going to start off with the S&P 500 E-mini futures. You will notice that they are trading higher by about 8.5 points at the moment to 1323.50 per contract. So decent little pop-up in the futures. However, they are well off the highs of 1329 that was made around 3:30, 4 o'clock this morning. So futures have pulled back. That just tells us that the U.S. dollar index has made a little bit of a move. And sure enough, the dollar bottoms out around 3:30 in the morning. Started to rally up. It's still negative. The dollar is still negative by about 16 cents at the moment on the U.S. dollar index futures to 82.36 per contract. Again, the most important chart that anybody can watch or follow right now is the U.S. dollar index chart. When the dollar goes lower, the markets will go higher. It's an inflation-deflation story. The only way the markets inflate at this time is if the dollar deflates and trades off. Dollar starts to move lower, the markets will catch a bid and inflate higher. So today you do see the dollar lower, but it is well off the lows of the day, and we'll see how it holds up. As the dollar declines, you can watch for the futures to trade higher. If I click back to the futures chart, you'll see as soon as that little dip in the dollar occurred, the futures caught a little bit more of a bid. So it's just an inverse relationship to the U.S. dollar index. Now, there's some news out of Europe today that's worth noting. It looks like Spanish retail sales fell. I believe they're down 9.8% from a year ago, and that is a big, big decline. Also, I think Italy had a bond auction with 2-year notes, and their yields started to spike up a little bit. So you have to watch that very, very closely. Again, the worse the news gets out of Europe, the stronger the dollar will be, and that's always important to note. So again, this morning, when we look at the European markets, you do have Spain down, I believe, 2.5%. Italy is down about 0.5%, but you do have Germany, the CAC 40, which is France, and the FTSE 100, which is England, all basically positive to flat. The DAX is doing a little bit better. That is trading higher by about 0.6%. But other than that, you do have Italy and Spain both lower, and that's really where the focus should be. Now, there's a lot of chatter going on about Greece. Who really knows what's going to happen there? But ultimately, most people are now getting ready for Greece to depart from the European Union. So we'll see if that does happen. It may take a little bit more time than most people think. I think they were given some more money to pay their bills, but so we're probably looking a little bit down the road. But either way, I ultimately believe that Greece will depart from the euro, as most others do as well. But it probably just takes a little bit more time than recently anticipated. Okay, let's take a look at a few other things out here this morning. One, I want to talk about gold. Gold is trading higher by $15 to $15.75 per ounce. Take a look at the GLD this morning. GLD closed on Friday at 152.68. Today it's trading at 152.89. Not that big of a move, but nonetheless, it is trading up a little bit. We'll have to watch that. That gold is going to move on the dollar. If the dollar gets stronger, expect gold to get weaker. If the dollar starts to plummet, expect gold to catch a big bid. Gold is up. Usually when gold is higher, usually oil is higher, and that is the case this morning. Light sweet crude is trading higher by 45 cents to 91.11 per barrel. Let's take a look at the USO this morning. It's a good proxy for oil, and you'll see USO trading at 34.37, closed at 34.22, so pretty much in line with what you would expect here. Again, this is another dollar story. Dollar down, oil should get a bit higher, and vice versa. Let's take a look at a few other things out here this morning. Before I look at some stocks, I just want to talk about the Asian markets. Last night, looks like Asia was up across the board. It really didn't matter what it was. You had the Nikkei up 3/4%. The Hang Seng was up 1.35%. The Shanghai was up 1.2%, and Australia was up 1.16%. The Indian Sensex was up just a little bit, but that index has been pretty strong as of late. That was only up, I believe, 0.1%, but nonetheless, it still scratched out a positive gain. The Shanghai really had a nice bid last night. That's China. That was up 1.2%. So if the U.S. markets are strong today, you want to watch the Chinese ADRs. There's a lot of talk that China will come out with a stimulus plan very soon. That has not happened, but ultimately that is the chatter. So we'll see if the markets ramp up, or at least the Shanghai ramps up into that actual stimulus plan, and then we'll see where the market is at that point. Maybe there'll be a sell-off at that juncture. But either way, the Shanghai was up 30 points last night, which is a gain of 1.2%. So watch the Chinese ADRs today. Stocks like Baidu, Sina Corp, these are all potential stocks that could move higher if the U.S. markets hold up. If the U.S. markets start to falter and are weak, do not expect anything out of these Chinese ADRs, as they're already in a real tender position on the charts where they can actually fall. So again, you have to watch the U.S. market very, very closely, and that will tell us pretty much everything we need to know. Here's some stocks in the news today. One is Vertex Pharmaceuticals. This stock has been flying off the charts. Today it is getting hit pretty hard, down around $12 from the closing high, closed around $64. Today you could see it trading at $51. I did work out some levels before. It looks like there's some support around 51, more support around $46.35, and then there's pretty good support around the $40.50 level at maybe $41. Right around that vicinity, there's going to be pretty good support. So it's a little bit tough to nail or pinpoint an exact penny, but I'm just going to say right around that $40.50 level. Maybe it's even overshoots it, maybe to around $39. Then you're going to have to look all the way down to $35. So that's what we're looking at right now for Vertex. But it is a strong gap down, so respect it. This thing could have some major downside. I would be careful on the longs here, especially if the market's weak. That is a pretty good gap down on Vertex, and you want to respect that. It's a strong gap, and sometimes those strong gaps can go lower than you think. So be careful with Vertex there, but those would be the support levels. I think best bet out of all of it would be somewhere around the $39 level. That would probably be best bet for looking for a bounce. We'll see if it even gets down there. I'm not sure that will even happen, but you never know with these biotechs. When they fall very, very sharply, and it seems to be a problem with their cystic fibrosis drug. I just didn't get the chance to look at the news, but something along those lines. That was the headline. Let's take a look at Peabody Energy. I know the stock was upgraded today. I just don't see anything for the coal stocks. If the stock can trade above 25.43 on a closing basis, then it may have some short-term upside. But ultimately, the stock's in a downtrend. It's very, very weak. I would not make too much out of it. I don't see a lot here. If it can trade higher, great. It's a strong gap up. You want to respect it for a little while, but again, I'm just not sure there's a whole lot on the coal stocks at the moment. Let's take a look at Chesapeake Energy. This is a leading natural gas company, unlike Peabody, which is coal. Chesapeake having an involvement with Coal Icon, taking over a 7% stake here. I don't see a lot here. Maybe the stock has a little bit more upside. Still, until it could get above $18, there's not a lot you could do with this stock. Just a wall of resistance around $18. Even up here around $17 is a ton of resistance. So again, let Chesapeake prove itself. Right now, I'm just not seeing anything there. Let's take a look at Facebook. Facebook came out with news today that they are going to buy, or they're attempting to buy, another company. I'm not exactly sure who it is or what exactly it is, but they're looking to make, I believe it's Opera Software, so they're going to buy a company out of Norway. This is to help their mobile phone software, but either way, the stock still is pretty dire from the IPO. It's trading around 31.40 right now, closed at 31.90. I just have a hard time with Facebook at the moment. It's not showing us a lot. I'd probably have a tendency to just tell you to leave it alone. Here's another one that was in the news today, IBI. This is Interline Brands. Stock is being taken out. So, again, anybody that owns it, congratulations. If you don't own it, leave it alone. It's a takeover. It will just trade sideways. There's not a lot you could do with it now. But if you do own it, one heck of a trade. Congratulations. Take the money off the table. That looks to be it this morning. I don't see a whole lot else. I've been scouring through this market. But, again, this is the first trading day after a long holiday. Usually the markets will have a little bit of a holiday hangover. Volume will be light. So usually has a small tendency to favor the upside. And we'll see if that's how the market finishes today. But overall, there's not a lot out there. It's a little bit on the quiet side, and we'll see how the market plays out. But once again, everybody, I'd like to leave it there. Have a great trading day, and we'll see you on the charts tomorrow. Take care, everybody.